Hey everybody, I've been hitting up hot pots lately, and there's some good hot pot places here in Las Vegas. Let's take a look at a couple of the ones that I've been going to. I didn't know it was that big. I think that's good. It makes me eat more than I usually do So while I was going around looking for hot pots, I came across this thing. This is called the Kraken, and these are its children. Just kidding, these are chicken wings. But that Kraken, man, this is the first place that I stopped by. This is called Alleyway Hot Pot. Alleyway Hot Pot is located in Southwest Las Vegas on Rainbow and Warm Springs. I really fell in love with this place. When you walk in, they actually have the old school Street Fighter arcade games. How cool is that? The Kraken is actually a whole fried squid, named after Kraken, the mythical sea creature of gigantic size. This thing is huge, it's really big, and they didn't cook it too much. They don't overcook these. It's really tender soft with a crispy batter and has a really good flavor. I think it's worth it to get this for $13.50. I also tried their little side dish of scallion gravy rice. It wasn't anything spectacular, a little bit of fried toppings and some kind of a sweet sauce. And I was actually looking for pork in this thing. I had to read the item again on the menu. Found out it's just scallion gravy rice, if it's a gravy at all. Just a really small side dish that sounded interesting.
I like those two mixed.
Mix these two? Ah, okay, so you put this in here. They had a couple of sauces, chili oil, seasoned soy sauce, and some kind of a hot bean paste. But I found that these hot pots didn't need much of a seasoning. This is the tonkatsu. It comes in a creamy pork broth. I loved the setup here. Each person gets their own individual hot pot, each with a burner and some heating element underneath. It made it very convenient to eat, versus the communal hot pot where they put a big pot in the middle and everybody dips into it. They have a variety of hot pots here. These are Chinese style hot pots. The broth of the Chinese style hot pots seem to have more flavor versus the shabu style. The shabu style hot pots have a broth that has less of a flavor, and the concept is that the broth becomes flavorful as you keep dipping the various ingredients into it. These individual hot pots may not look that large, but they're actually quite packed with a lot of stuff. They'll have the meat, beef, pork, lamb, seafood, and it'll come with vegetables. A lot of these have corn in there. They have some potatoes, and they all have some kind of a noodle, either the udon noodle or a clear vermicelli. This is the sea salt cream tomato. This is my favorite. The cream sauce adds a great flavor to this one. These hot pots don't have a temperature control. You can't control the heat. You can't turn it off. Sometimes it'll come out with a lot of heating element underneath. It'll burn for a good while. Sometimes you might get one with not enough, and it'll burn out pretty quickly. If you have any problems with the heating element, just simply let the restaurant staff know and they'll take care of you. This place is not an all-you-can-eat hot pot. And neither is the other one that I went to, Chubby Cattle. It's also a well-known hot pot with all kinds of premium ingredients. But I loved the simplicity of this place. It doesn't have an enormous menu, but what they do have is an addictively good hot pot. Every hot pot will have their own assortment of ingredients, but usually it'll consist of vegetables, meat, and noodle. with a delicious broth. I thoroughly enjoyed every hot pot I tried at this place. All of the ingredients were delicious. And some of the fish cakes had stuff in the middle that was really good. Some of those I've never tried before. But all of these were good either with or without the dipping sauce. They even had tied bundles of noodles and sometimes tied bundles of vegetables. On my first visit to Alleyway, I loved the hot pot so much that I wanted to try all the hot pots here. If you're looking for an all-you-can-eat hot pot, there are some other options here in town, such as Nabe Hot Pot. Nabe Hot Pot is a very busy place. This is an all-you-can-eat shabu. And on top of that, at Nabe you can also have all-you-can-eat sushi. At Nabe they have the communal hot pot in the middle. They don't have individual setups like here at Shabuya. If you want to see Shabuya, check out my video in my playlist. Personally, I prefer the hot pot places that have individual burners. It makes it really convenient to eat. The communal hot pot here in the middle has two sections. You can choose two types of broth. Some people like to mix different kinds of broth. The meats that you order here are saran wrapped or wrapped in a plastic wrap. I found that this was a little bit inconvenient, even though it does help the meat from drying out. And like I mentioned before, the sushi here is all you can eat. While you're waiting for your broth to heat up, you can order as much as you want from their appetizer menu and their sushi menu. The quality of the sushi here was quite good. The sushi was impressive, and they even had a large appetizer menu with all kinds of side dishes, tempura vegetables, tempura shrimp, and so much more. The menu was pretty huge, but you have to ask yourself, how much can you eat? Can you really have an all-you-can-eat sushi dinner and an all-you-can-eat shabu hot pot? For me, I probably want to go to an all-you-can-eat sushi place or an all-you-can-eat shabu place on separate occasions. But at the same time, you do have the variety. The vegetables and the sauces are in a buffet format. You serve yourself. You help yourself to all the different kinds of vegetables, noodles, and sauces. But I found this experience to be a little bit overwhelming. It was so much stuff. There was so much to do. I felt like I was really working to get set up for my lunch or dinner. But the food was great. The sushi was really fresh, had a good fish to rice ratio. They had various rolls. All the sushi was really impressive. But you have to plan carefully on what you're going to order, how much you're going to eat, because you will get full. There's quite a bit of food. The shabu hot pot was good. All of the ingredients were fresh. But like I mentioned before, the wrappers do kind of get annoying and they do add up. However, they did a really good job of clearing our tables. The meat I thought was a little bit thin, and each serving plate of the meats were pretty small and gone within a matter of minutes. But you can order as much as you want, so you can fill up on this. And the meats were really good. This was a really quality shabu hot pot, and it's all you can eat. The price for this all you can eat ranges from about $25 to $30. For that one price, you will have the all you can eat sushi as well as the all you can eat shabu hot pot. The variety here was really good, but I will say that I still like Shabuya a little bit better. So if you want to see Shabuya, check out my video from April of 2021. The reason that I prefer Shabuya over Nabe is the larger selection of seafood items. Also, the individual burners for each person makes it really comfortable to eat. They don't have all-you-can-eat sushi and maybe a few less items for the appetizers, but the seafood was incredible here. But some of you may like Nabe better. It's kind of up to you. You may have to try both places and decide for yourself. I personally liked Shabuya better. The meats were actually a little bit larger and the cuts were a little bit better. The setup was much more comfortable here. And I can't say enough about the meats. The meats were awesome. Have you ever heard of the term too much on your plate? That's what I felt when I was eating at Nabe. Don't get me wrong, the food was great at Nabe and the variety was excellent. It's just that I felt like I couldn't enjoy the sushi or the hot pot because I was trying to have two types of dinners all at once. But I guess that depends on how you handle yourself. I went back to Alleyway. But right now, I think Alleyway is my favorite hot pot place. Everything is so simple. Everything is in the pot. They bring it to you and you just eat. I'm addicted to this place. This place is now my favorite. All of the hot pots here are so good and I'm dying to try the other ones. So this type of hot pot is a little bit different from the all-you-can-eat formats at the other places. But I guess it depends on your mood and what you want at the time. And who knows, maybe sometimes I want the all-you-can-eat versus this type of a hot pot. If you have your favorite, please let me know in the comments so I can try them out as well. I hope these videos kind of gave you an idea of what choices are out there for you. You can try different kinds of hot pots, but these are the places that I've been going to recently. So that's gonna do it for this one from Alleyway and Nabe and a look back at Shabuya. So thanks for watching and we'll see you on the next video.